And we are live with the Chicks Covered and Raimundo Escobar Sanchez Rodriguez.
What is up, everyone?
What is going on? Of course, I just got a text.
Of course you did.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Hopefully you're enjoying your day.
Topics, none to steer. None, nope, you steer. Oh, you're going to have them drive.
They're driving. I have some ideas, but, in case they don't get sassy. Rogers requests to remove trade for the next 2 days.
What is up, Jerry Parker and Carcane? Levi Cummins. I hope everyone is doing well. The Shaggy Rifleman. Hey, you. I like that handle. Shaggy Rifleman. I need to. Dang, it's already taken. What's the oldest gun each of you own?
Ooh, that's a good
question. That is from Carcane.
Give me a couple minutes, D. Rose. I'll figure it out.
I have some old revolvers, but we can't show them, but from the late 1800s. So,
yeah, I don't have anything like that. I would say.
What's up, Mark T. Robert Warren?
Let me think before I answer this. The oldest thing I have, and I don't even remember what it was, is like a Roebuck, Sears Roebuck.
Roebuck, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what year it was made, but I actually had gotten that when my mom passed away, and it was a 22 long rifle revolver. I've showed it a couple times on the channel, but I don't know what the year is on that. I know it's old, but I don't know how old it is.
What's up, Eagle Eye and Ramsey? Hope you guys are doing well.
What's going on, Ramsey? Eagle Eye?
You look younger, but guess what I got today? Guess what I got in the mail today? Dun, dun, dun. So this was off the prize table for the Hornady PRS.
I know what you're saying.
And this is the MagnetoSpeed V3 soft case. And so it comes with everything. I haven't even been into this yet, but basically it's the new bayonet with their new cam buckle system, and it is a chronograph. They made a lot of really cool changes to it. I've used some MagnetoSpeeds, but never owned one because I usually use them at the lab radar. But I'll tell you what, going to that PRS match with you, Rick, a lot of guys had these and they were checking their velocities. And I'll tell you one thing that's really cool is on the back of the box here, they've made it so that it's basically dual fuel. You can use 9mm or 9mm. You can use a 9-volt battery, or it'll use the CR123As, and those will go across right here, and then you just tuck this out of the way. So that is pretty cool because almost everyone carries the CR123s now. Yeah, the full kit and caboodle.
Now, that is the barrel-mounted one, right?
Correct. That's what MagnetoSpeed makes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's good. I mean, if you're just looking for velocity and not accuracy at the same time, it's not a big deal.
What are you talking about? It's not going to affect your grouping that much, hanging that off the barrel, because it's going to affect your harmonics the same. The other thing is it is now has a piece in here where you can use it with your suppressor, so you can actually wrap it around the suppressor and not worry about melting it. Did quite a few good upgrades, and I think MSRP on the kit's about $400. $399.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome that you won that. That's pretty cool. I got a couple little gizmo gadgets, but nothing as cool as that for sure.
Yeah. No, this is going to be a welcome thing to have around.
Of course, when you're one of the last few guys, there was still a ton of cool stuff on the price table. It was freaking amazing. But yeah, that's awesome. It showed up. You got it. Let's try it.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was going to call them back today because I was like, man, I just talked to them last week. And my wife walks up this afternoon and she's got this in her hands in a box. And I was like, I've been looking for that. And she goes, yeah, it actually came about 3 days ago and I had it in the trunk of my car.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've been busy prepping brass. I annealed all the brass today on the bench source over here. Got 200 pieces of brass annealed and 6mm Creedmoor, and then got everything loaded up for the Friday night fights tomorrow.
Oh, you going? Is Minnie X shooting?
No, she actually has a friend of hers that she hasn't seen in about 3 years that is coming up for a week. And so they're coming in tomorrow afternoon, and that's just not going to work out for her. That wouldn't be right anyway. I mean, hadn't seen somebody in 3 years. And, hey, we're going to go to a shooting match. So, no, I'm going to go.
That's cool. That'll be fun. Oh, that's not that was the one like we did last time. It wasn't the 100-round deal, right?
Yeah, it's a 100-round deal. Let me address this question. Eagle Eye. It is absolutely 100% worth it to get the cold tack, that backbone with a flat bag. I actually borrowed one of those from one of the pros on 2 stages, and it made a huge difference because it was so thin. I actually had a chance to use a lot of different bags from these guys because they were like, man, I'd probably use this one. And, the one was the Area 419, the big fat plate. And that thing's just so gargantuan, but it's very solid. But the cold tack really fit the bill well. And I know you can get different textures on that, and it'll accommodate different bags. I think they have some that are like rawhide or something like that, something that was more like a suede look. But yeah, I am going to get one of those, and the price is right on those. So I would highly recommend that. John Townley, I anneal my brass every single time I shoot it. Every single time. Getting into this Lepore brass, when you're getting into the more expensive stuff, it is not going to hurt it in any way, shape, or form. It is just going to take it back to where it's soft, where it needs to be, so you're not case hardening it. And yeah, I would recommend it.
Yeah, great questions out here. My mind's scattered because I'm trying to figure out how I want to run the process on this email or text answer.
Gotcha.
So
John Kreiderman, yes, it is going to be pistol only. Hopefully I see you out there. If you don't have any 9, I can find some. If you want to come on out, I'll bring you 100 rounds, and love to see you because I don't have any. I'm not taking L or anything like that. I'm just going to go and have some fun. I'm actually going to shoot the Infinity 40. I haven't shot that in a long time, so I just knocked out some hand loads for it, and I'm going to have some fun.
Let's go. World Shaking's here. Let's see. Ilan and
thoughts on a cuff match. Your tactical don't like it. Needs something that's pairing with my stick here. What distances would you consider long-range shooting for a 22 long rifle? Anything past 300 yards, anything past 300, I would consider that long-range shooting for a 22. Unless you've got a lot of elevation or a special base, you're probably going to run out of reticle around 400-ish yards, depending on what you're shooting. And, yeah, anything beyond that. Richard Stevens, Ray, what bullet weight and projected velocity are you planning for your 223 AI? Seems like you said 80 or 90. Our 220 Swift, 8 or 9 inch with 75 at about 335. It's a good question, and we have Ken on here who actually got real world data on it. But I am going to be shooting the Hornady, the ELD match, and this is the 80 grainer. And 25.5 grains of Varget. It's honestly, you can load that in a 223. So I don't know if there's any benefit of having the extra case capacity in the AI. Maybe it'll be good later if I change to a different weight bullet or something like that. But I was talking to Ken about it, and really I could just load up 223 and 80 grain and be fine with it. Let's see. Hopefully I answered that question, or Ken could maybe answer it. Rick Ray, my crappy Chinese sling for my SKS broken. I need a new one. Thoughts on Hawaiian themed slings? I know nothing about Hawaiian themed slings. Impressions of the 6.5 PRC. It's a great cartridge. In that proof, which I told you guys I didn't take any video of or anything else, that is the proof build that I did on the one video. Having it side by side with the 6mm conviction, which I just got, was breaking them in and is doing some shooting. It's like the 6.5 PRC is not really that necessary. It's almost like, I don't know what the word for it is. I think I don't know what you're gaining, if that makes any sense.
I apologize for being brain gone for a minute. I was trying to, obviously I need to do work prior to, most importantly, over this stuff, but I'm good now. So let's get rocking. A lot of great questions out here. We got a lot of great people out here. Quite a few names I haven't seen before, so that is awesome. Thanks for showing up. Let's see. Did you answer the one about the sling?
No, I did not. I don't know anything about Hawaiian themed slings. Brian, he has. Is there much disadvantage to having a small overhang? No, and you see it quite often actually, especially if you're going to get like a 419 rail. On pretty much all the ones I have, I think even Rick's overhang is just a little bit on the front.
Yeah.
About the only thing I could think of is if you were trying to quickly put on, let's say you were trying to do some of these matches, you'll have like a tether or something, a band that you got to rest off of. I could see it getting hung up there, but just momentarily. I mean, just guys, one of the biggest words of advice that I've learned from that PRS, and there was another guy on my squad that was newer to it as well, and they said, anytime you move, place that rifle in the direction of your target. Okay. And I don't know how I got on this topic, just talking about the sling. It just kind of made me think of it. I see so many guys, and I even worked with Rick, I even worked with you on it. Guys just put their rifle up on whatever it is, a stool, a fence, or whatever. Go ahead and be looking at the direction of that first target you're going to be engaged and get that muzzle pointed in that direction. And that way, when you get down on that scope, because you're going to lose your bearings there for just a second, and it's going to waste precious time as you're doing this. Rick, I hate to tell on you, but actually, I got to be on the tail end of a couple of your stages.
Yeah.
And I saw that a few times, especially on the log stage, which you did really, really well on. But on a couple of those, you burned up seconds looking for that target. I can't remember. It wasn't the first one, the Jack Daniels. I think it was the IPSC all the way in the back. You were sitting there like looking, and then you found it. And so a lot of people say, well, you got it magnified too much. When you change position,
I did.
I know exactly. You did not, and that was a good thing. But it's because you just threw the rifle up there without it being in the direction of the target already. So that's some good advice.
Yeah, and the hard part, if you can memorize where the stuff is on the side of a mountain, you're basically, all you see is the mountain range over there. So you got to find things like maybe a darker tree or a different colored bush, and kind of know it's right or left of that somewhere. It's tough finding the targets.
Yeah, Brian, you're absolutely right. I did learn a ton at the PRS match. I'm not going to say it's stuff that I didn't expect, because Rick and I kind of worked on the positional stuff. We did all that stuff beforehand. What I learned was time management more so. I mean, you're pushed a little bit more in these ruck matches, I think, but you have more than 90 seconds to do it. And you really got to allocate your time wisely, because you're looking for the targets. And then you're trying to get your primary on, you're trying to get your secondary on. This one's just all you, and you got 90 seconds. That 90 seconds is gone just like that. I will tell you, I didn't have much problem with the time. Okay. I think the only one that got most people was stage one. Stage one was 15 rounds, and I never saw a pro get to 15 rounds. Never did. I think the highest score, and you'd have to go back on the score sheet, I think the highest score on that was like 13 or 14. So that was really a lot. That was a lot going on in a short amount of time, but I did enjoy it. I am going to shoot more PRS matches. I've already pulled up the Southeast. I've got 3 or 4 locations within the next 4 hours, and it's a challenge. So I definitely want to pursue it. Don't start grinning. I said, I'm just going to try it, Rick. What's up, Jackson?
So stage one, since we were on it, I never even got to the other section. So I had completed the 4 shots, but between the mag deal, so that I was kind of bummed that shit happened.
Yeah, Chris, let me touch back on that 6.5 PRC. In the platform that it's in, being that proof, you got to remember those TAC 3s are all carbon fiber. They're not allowed to call it that anymore. It's called a conviction. Super light barrel. I mean, the entire package, you're looking at 13 pounds. And to put that in a 6.5 PRC, you're exactly right. I think the 6.5 PRC definitely has its place, but I don't think in that light of a platform. That would be more for hunting. You want a little more power than a 6.5 Creedmoor. But for precision rifle shooting, I think she jumps around a little too much for that little bit of weight.
I don't know about the Area 419, but having an Arca rail is a very important piece of equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, like Richard's saying here, I know there's some other manufacturers that make stuff that will fit with the Arca rail, but I think you almost need it, especially for that kind of stuff. If you got to squeeze everything up close and have your bipod close and be able to put, the stock, or be able to put a bag somewhere where you wouldn't if it was way at the end. Like, I think that's probably one of the most important pieces besides, I don't know.
Yeah, we got Smoky Mountain boys talking about my hair.
Smoky Mountain boys.
Yeah.
Mr. Casey.
Yeah, so I was actually answering a couple questions on Facebook. I joined this group, this long range shooters group or whatever, and I still see a lot of the same topics. And there's a couple of people that commented, and learn a lot from just the chats. Okay, first and foremost, MOA. I know we got Ramsey out there, we got Eagle Eye, and everything else. Okay, I'm just going to put this out there very simply. Shoot what you're comfortable with. But if you're going to get into F class, probably look at MOA. If you're going to get into PRS or long range, ruck matches, anything like that, go with mill. Okay, mill turrets, mill reticle, because it's going to be easy to find mill spotting scopes, and everyone talks in mills. F class, my understanding is a lot of those guys shoot MOA. You do have a little finer adjustment, but don't read too much into that. The biggest hang up that I see with people is they think because we shoot in yards that they have to somehow convert that to meters if they use a mill scope. You do not. It does not matter whatsoever. Okay, you can shoot a mill scope and shoot 500 yards, 900 yards. You don't have to do any extra math. Got the Bartlett barrel in. I'll knock it out when I get home. Oh, awesome.
Keep reading.
Rick, your rifle will be up and running also.
Bam. Hot damn.
I know you're excited about that.
Hot damn. Now I got to go make ammo. Scott, this is a nice cup, isn't it?
Yeah, Willie, I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's why I kind of wanted to talk about it. And, Willie, if you're 74, you probably, and I could be completely wrong, I don't know you, but you've probably grown up just like I have on MOA scopes. Everything you had was a quarter MOA or, maybe a half MOA, and it's what we know and we feel comfortable with. But if someone is going to get into PRS shooting or all that, I'm not saying you have to. It's just going to be easier in your life if you go mill. And even if you don't, all of the ballistics apps on the smartphones, it's just flick a switch and you can get both, or you can get one, and it'll convert it into mills or MOA. It doesn't matter.
Abigail's got a good answer right there.
Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes out a lot of math. That's absolutely right. And then the other question that I get a lot is about the power. Don't get hung up in the power. A 4-16 will do anything you need it to do. It really will. A lot of time, and it's nice to have the extra power if you're spotting or if you're at the range spotting for someone, but it's pretty much unusable power for the most part. Okay, in matches anyway. If you're just going out and shooting on a bench, it's nice to have, but a lot of times conditions are going to dictate, and the Mirage is going to dictate what power you're going to be on anyway. And you're going to lose so much field of view. Those are my two big things that I just want to contribute tonight because the topic just came up a little bit ago in a chat that I was in.
You're in a chat or
It was a Facebook chat.
Aha.
Let's see.
Right. I thought that pistol was mine, that Staccato. with the red dot. He's what do you think of that STI with the red dot on it? And I'm all, that's not my pistol, man.
Oh, you're talking about the Staccato P Duo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a call.
Oh shit. This one I might have to go to. This is in San Diego.
Yeah, and Eagle Eye just now commented on the exact same thing. If you can see your splash, it doesn't matter if it's MOA or mill. Just adjust to that splash. But you'll see mill will be faster. So one of the things about it, and you know what? I might be able to do this. Hold on just a minute. Un momento, por favor. I don't know if this is possible, but I have two of the exact same scopes, and it's probably not going to be possible to do this. More than likely not. We're getting there. Okay, so on a mill scope, when you're looking through there, and like I said, I doubt this is going to be possible, but what I was going to mention is you have very defined, usually it's going to be half mil increments. MOAs have a huge gap. It's not going to be, I'm not going to say it's not as fine, but I have the exact same scope. I have two of the exact same scopes, the Burris XTR, one's in mil, one's in MOA. And even though you can see that splash, you can adjust to it. But like Kenny's saying, you'll see that mill is usually faster. I don't see why not. Oh, so I'm going to try to catch up with these questions while he's gone. Brian, the MagnetoSpeed is a really, really good chronograph. It's very fast to set up. These have been out for a while, and they make a great product. I first heard about them years ago because there were actually some groups in the military that were using them because it was so quick, so easy, and so portable. But they're very accurate. But this one right here is $400 because this is the full kit. They make cheaper alternatives, but the company is MagnetoSpeed. And I can't tell you how many we saw at that Hornady PRS match. When we went in there on sight-in day, everyone was getting their velocity.
Hold on. Breaking news. Well, it may not be breaking, but it's pretty damn breaking to me. So Kenny had their baby. So baby Kinsley is here now.
Awesome.
So congratulate Kenny and
congratulations. Why is he on the chat?
Welcome Kinsley. I would assume I can show this part maybe really quick, but there's a pretty little baby. So that is awesome. So congratulations.
Nice. Congratulations.
That's cool, man. Cool. Yeah, I was texting him. I'm like, when's that baby coming? Baby here yet? You know, like the last couple of days, like, where's the baby? Where's the baby?
Hey, Carcane, I am going to agree with you. John Browning is the all-time greatest American gun designer.
Greatest American.
Hands down. You know, as much as I mess with machine guns and everything else, and I do a lot of teardown rebuilds on machine gun stuff, some of his designs are just, it's like, geez, how did you come up with this? How did he come up with that? You know, I'm always looking at things. And I was actually rebuilding a machine gun the other day. It was one of the, it wasn't a true FAL. It was one of the versions of the FAL machine gun. Oh my God, that thing's got so much. I think there's more parts in that than any gun I've ever taken apart, ever. It is insane.
Really?
We're not talking about field stripping. We're talking about a full tear down, coat, everything. And that thing's got so many springs in it with plungers and resets. It was a pain in the butt. Not going to lie.
Bring your glass, Lynn. I always tea around here, my friend. Ooh, that was Dr. Seussy style. Did you hear that shit? That's what I'm talking about. Got Drew out there, and Lynn, and Abigail, and Brian Duchesne, Carcane, Shaggy Rifleman, 45 Auto, Redneck Preppers out there, Patriot, Richard Hedges, Skull, Eagle Eye. You guys are having fun. Appreciate you guys all showing up. We got 57 people already.
Nice.
And good Lord, we just started. Lead Mine 44. And Brian Docky. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday night. Normally, we shoot on Thursday.
So, real quick, just because we do have 56 people on here, I'll mention make a quick announcement. So I'm getting ready to break 40,000 subscribers with the help of all you guys. And I do want to say I really appreciate everyone that chimes in on the live chats, that comments, and everything else. It's been a really fun adventure for me, being able to put the information out there and hopefully good content out there for you guys. So at some point between tonight and tomorrow, it won't be tonight, it'll be tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, it'll probably break 40,000 because it's only a couple shy right now. So if that happens tomorrow, I will do a live chat very quickly. It'll probably be a 5-minute chat or less. And I'm going to give away 2 knives, 2 microtechs.
Damn!
Yeah, they're brand new. They will be in the box and we'll see. I don't even know how I'm going to do it. It might be just like Ella did last time where I just swiped through the comments back and forth and she put her finger on there, and whoever did that, I'm going to give away 2 tomorrow. No, I do not get knives for free. I do pay for them, but it's my way of giving back to you guys for watching. And yeah, I'm going to do that. And it's they might not be what you expect, but they are knives.
Yeah, they're definitely nice. Let me hit the button here.
No, knives.
Well, yeah, they're knives. Jeez, now you got me all screwed up.
They are actually old butter knives. No, they are automatics. I will tell you that.
What the hell, Chris says? I'm down, Abigail says. They're actually old butter knives. 45.
So you want to be quick on that one. If and I know we don't all get the notifications, but like I said, it'll be at some point, probably tomorrow evening. I'm kind of giving you guys a hint because then I'm just going to pop up, and then whatever happens. I'll give them away in about 5 minutes time, and hopefully we'll be able to. I mean, that's going to increase everyone's odds.
That's right. That is right. Yeah, faster you do it.
Semi-automatic knives. That's right.
Fully semi-automatic. What time is that show happening?
I don't know. It depends on what time the. Okay, Eastern Standard. If I had to guess, it's probably going to happen somewhere between, and this is just a rough guess, somewhere between 8 to 9, somewhere in there, maybe. If I had to guess.
Yeah, if you had to guess.
Yep. If I had to guess.
Microtech on the gram. Let's see here. Now what's going on? I just got back. Ramsey Country, tomorrow, sometime between now and later. He's going to be giving away.
Probably tomorrow evening, 8, 9. I'm going to give 2 knives away for the 40,000 subscriber giveaway. I'd have never thought it would ever gotten that high. So big shout out to you guys.
Is the Crypod worth the money now that you used it?
For me, absolutely 100% worth the money. For my type of shooting, yes. For someone that is just going to go to the range, go off of a bench, not really get into competition or anything like that, no, it is not worth the money because it is a lot of money. I mean, essentially you're looking at, $800 for the double. Plus, if you get the really right stuff attachment, that's another $100. So you're looking at like 2 Glock pistols there. But if you're doing a competition where you might be in some of these compromised positions or you need the extra height, it is worth it for me, yes.
Yeah, and you know what? Once you buy it, you'll have it, right? I mean, as much as I don't want to buy one, maybe someday when I win the lottery and rob a bank and steal a couple cars and no, I'm just giving you a hard time. No,
well, thanks, John. But no, 45 Auto had me freaking dying laughing last night, and she has the photo somewhere. Minnie X tried to braid my hair, and I was like, "Get away! It's not happening.
Get away!" Live buzz cut. Truth Free says, "What's up, Truth?"
It looked like I had some cornrows going right here.
I think you should go with the mohawk and then just gel the crap out of that thing. Then you could be like the Asian Mr. T. Get you some gold. Get you some.
Okay.
Gold
this
chain.
is an awesome question. This actually is the question of the. You know what? This is such a good question, Richard Hedges. I'm giving away a knife tonight. Okay. I won't show it to you. I'll give it to you tomorrow. You need to email me at thexringchannel@gmail.com, and I will send you this knife. I will get it sent out probably Monday morning, But I need you to email me your name, address, and you won you a free knife.
Nice.
The question is, I have the money. Do I get a Kestrel or do I get a MagnetoSpeed? My answer is going to be get the Kestrel. And the reason is you don't have to have your velocity. It helps. But how many times, Rick, have we went out there with an unknown rifle? Case in point, that rifle that we got built for Mini X that Ken built for me at Eagle Eye Shooting,
Yeah.
we had no data on that as far as chronograph speed. I literally threw 50 rounds together of 25.5 grains of Varget. Now, Ken did tell me that was the load that kind of worked for him, but I didn't know the velocity. We went out there. We got her on paper at 100. She shot 200, hit it, 300, hit it, 400, hit it, 500. She went over the top. You guys didn't see that. I got on the rifle. I was like, I need to true this data out. But with the Kestrel, once I hit the steel, which took like 2 shots because the first one was high because the velocity was kind of guessing. Once I trued that out, she was good at 500, 600, and at 700, she was a little high as well. So I had to true it out one more time. The Kestrel is invaluable. However, that being said, don't let it be your crutch, okay? Maintain a logbook because anything electronic can break or you'll step on it or it'll fall off a cliff and then you're going to have nothing. So
Or you can't remember where you
know
put
the
it.
foundation of it before you start using it, if that helps.
Yeah, another thing too. I mean, think about those Ruger Americans that we brought out to the cornfields, right? We didn't have any data on
There
that.
you go. There
So
you go.
that we do that quite a bit. I mean,
Yep.
especially yourself. Let's see. I thought I saw.
I'm trying to catch up. Sorry, guys.
BB Xenon.
Oh.
How you doing? Red Raider reloading, showing up. Davey J. Appreciate you guys showing up. Can you reverse engineer your speed with the Kestrel? Ingrany.
Can you reverse engineer your speed with the Kestrel? Yes, you can. Well, let's see. Reverse engineer. Yeah, it's going to tell you. So basically, when you're doing, okay, so we talked about this a long time, but for those that are a long time ago, but if you guys don't realize it, there's a couple different ways to true your data up. You can true it off velocity, or you can true it off your ballistic coefficient. The ballistic coefficient's probably going to be your best way if it's like beyond 600. And I've talked to Ken and all that, and we all agreed on this, even without us having this conversation beforehand. But the fastest, easiest way is just true it up by speed. So when I shot her rifle at 500 yards, I knew it was high. So I came down about 0.2 of a mil. Well, it was still just at the top of the target. So I came down another 10th. So I'm just going to make up a number. Let's just say it was 3.5 mils and I came down to 3.2 mils. Well, then what you do by truing up your velocity is you say, well, I'm using 3.2. And it's going to spit out this velocity that's probably not going to be accurate, okay? But it will work for the dope chart. And the further you can true, the better it's going to be for you. But notice that it will change some of your lower distance holds. Maybe it's not going to matter as much because you're not getting that big of a drop, but you might notice a 10th or so.
See, unlike Strelok, not Kestrel, but Strelok, it seems after 600 is when it gets kind of funky in that little hole there. 600
Yeah. Now Ken says for ELR, a chronograph helps dial in those distances, and that's absolutely right. But let's define what ELR is, because this came up before as well. ELR, which I guess would be extreme long range or extended long range, I think nowadays when people are talking about ELR, aren't they really talking about like 2,000 plus yards? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know. I haven't shot that far, so.
What is everyone's definition? Ken, if you want to chime in, what is everybody considering ELR as opposed to long range shooter? Okay.
2,000 yards?
Okay. Hold on. Let's see here. I do factory loads, use lab radar. The only thing I need to measure and care about bullet velocity. No. See, aka the devil. No, you can't, because the ballistic coefficient is going to be close, but it's not going to be exact. Okay. It just isn't. Now, I will tell you that lab, when we were using the Kestrels, when we were screwing around shooting those 22s out to 700 yards, the dope was pretty darn spot on those Kestrels. Truing it. I mean, Rick just started right.
You're getting hammered.
What you're really going about the true ballistic coefficient, actually doing some developmental stuff for a company, is you need to get the velocity at the muzzle. Then you really need a bullet trap at, let's say, 1,000 yards, and you need to shoot it between both traps and not hit your 1,000-yard trap. I mean, that's just a bigger scale of what's going on when a company comes up with their ballistic coefficient. And then what you do is it measures that drop in velocity over that distance, and that'll come up with the ballistic coefficient. But it's not going to be exact; it's just going to be close. Hold on, let me get some of these questions. There's some great questions coming up. So Brian says, right, if I know at 220 yards you need 25 MOAs with my 25 long rifle to get a target, what other info do I need to calculate the rest of the dope? Well, once you put that in the Kestrel, it will give you estimations based on knowns. So you would go in there under your truing for your muzzle velocity. This is the easy way to do it. And you just put on there 225 yards, the dope that you actually use, 25 MOAs, enter. It'll say, here's your muzzle velocity, accept, you accept it. And the next thing you know, it will come up with a full chart all the way out to however many thousands of yards you want. Regardless of it being a 22, you can put all of that in there. That's the beauty of it. It's going to get you all over it. Strelok and Applied Ballistics will all do the same.
This is cool. Mackie said that Kestrel has had a few Zoom sessions, so it's pretty cool with Todd Harnett.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Man, some awesome questions tonight.
Sub $800 rifle. There was a good question in here, especially for someone thinking about getting into it.
Yeah, hold on. Drew Bradley, absolutely. If you crimp your cases too hard on the round, it is going to change the pressure because you're increasing the neck tension on that bullet, okay, where you're taking the case and you're actually crimping it around that bullet. So, I typically, on my long range, I don't do a crimp. Let's hear from Ramsey Country. Let's hear from Kenny. I don't even kiss a crimp on there. Basically, once I size it, I am going to – now, you don't always want to do this with a gas gun. Gas gun, you can get some issues because it's forcing that up a feed ramp. I can do it on my match rifles, but I would not be doing that because now if you get bullet pushback or setback, now you're going to increase the pressure because there's less volume. But I don't crimp on my precision rifles.
Where are you at? Where are you at on comments?
Man, I'm trying to catch up. You know what? I've been talking too much. You talk.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where you're at so I can highlight the damn question. What time are you on right now?
I don't have times. I'm on my phone, dude.
All right. Well, here's another good question. You may have answered it already. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I'm past that.
You passed that. Okay. Well, I'm trying to figure out where the heck you at because you are rocking and rolling. All right. Have you got to the best starter bolt gun for $800 trying to help Shaggy the rifleman out?
Yes, the best starter bolt gun for sub $800. I'm going to have to still go with that Remington PCR. It's still getting good reviews. Guys are having a lot of good luck with it. You can get those things for around $700. Sam still loves his to death, and I think he paid $800 for it. Look, I know it's Remington. Remington's come a long ways, but for that kind of money, yes, you can get a Ruger American. We've shown you guys that. You can still, shoot long range. But I think for availability of a lot of aftermarket stuff, you're never going to be able to beat that Remington 700. It's one of the reasons why I chose it for Ella's build.
And you shot
been there forever.
And you shot one of your tightest groups ever with that rifle.
I did. But that could have been that rifle that day.
Yeah. I'm just saying. So there you go, Shaggy Rifleman. What else we got?
So Ramsey Country, guys. Ramsey Country does a lot of long-range shooting as well as Ken. Ramsey Country is also saying no crimp. Why? Are you trying to make sure your loads are waterproof? You know, I don't. He doesn't. There's a lot of guys that don't do it with precision rifle. There's enough neck tension in it where it's not going to be an issue.
What's up, Gimp Geek? Seen that name in a while. Guy's been hiding. X Deuce is out there. Jared Parker.
Okay. Oh, another great question. 45 auto, because I just ordered one of these. Okay, so the Area 419 mount for the CZ455, what yardages for 15 minutes of angle and what yardages for 30 minutes of angle? That is a kind of an open-ended question because it really depends on what type of ammo you're shooting. Are you shooting subsonic, which is typically what we found is a lot more accurate than anything supersonic, okay? You know, a lot of guys, you know, they're like, man, I'm going to shoot long range with my 22 and I'm going to shoot some stingers or I'm going to shoot some hypervelocity. Don't do that. Don't be that guy, okay? Because your accuracy is going to go out the window. And I think even on the Ruger, the rimfires, the owner's manual states not to shoot stingers, doesn't it? Isn't that what you told me?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So if you're going with subsonic ammo, you're going to get a lot of drop because you're just going so much slower. So I can't really answer the question exactly saying, all right, well, 15 minutes, because now you have to factor in how much internal adjustment do you have in the particular scope you're using on that platform. Okay.
And how stupid far do you want to shoot out to?
Correct. There you go.
If you want to be stupid like us two, then you probably want 30. If your scope will do it.
Yeah. Eagle Eye. Okay. So Ken answered the question as well. And this is even a more clear and concise answer than what I put out there for sure. Crimping causes higher extreme spread numbers. Okay. Because it is so hard to get that perfect. I mean, you're just, the extreme spread's going to be all over. It's not going to be all over the place, but it's harder to regulate, in my opinion. If the bullet ain't got a cantilever, don't crimp. And for those that, I think everyone knows what a cantilever is, but if you don't know what a cantilever is.
And while he's getting that, Ramsey Country saying the Savage. So if you guys are Savage fans, that may be something to look at for
Savage is a good one too. So what he's talking about, yeah, and Savage is a good option too. You see that little ring down there, guys? My camera won't focus. But if it has a cantilever, then you probably want to crimp it. And typically your 55 grains, well, depends on the bullet you're shooting, but if it's got a cantilever, you might want to look at crimping it. No cantilever, no reason to.
But I've kind of always said I'd rather have a $300 gun and a way more expensive scope than a really nice rifle and a shitty scope.
Man, I'm trying to get caught up. Let me get caught up real quick.
You ain't going to get caught up. They just keep going. Is Kestrel different types of measuring or just weather or ballistics? Well, depends on which one you get because you got the applied ballistics or added in, blah, blah, blah. Depends on how much money you want to spend. Get the link, all that stuff. It'll actually do
I can't remember who won the. I can't remember who won the knife, but you need to make sure you email me.
I can. It's Richard Hedges.
Yeah. Okay. So Richard, make sure you email me.
He's actually the guy that gave us the little Elmo when I came back from shooting.
Yes. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I know exactly. We saw him over at the Multi-Gun Nationals, but I don't think I have his email. I got to have his contact info to be able to send him the knife.
I'm sure he'll work on it.
Now, I'm sure.
He's got it. He'll get it. What's your rule of thumb? Neck tension, skull. I'm with Ken on the crimp. Brandon Milton, thanks for showing up. 1 minute and 60 seconds or 360 degrees. Gigabytes. Let's see. Bass Pro Shop has the Savage 12 FV for $290 right now. Are you saying the best scope?
Let me answer this about Patriot.
Yeah. Oh, Richard just sent it.
He said, what's that?
Richard said he just sent you the email.
Okay, awesome. Patriot. Thank you, Richard. Is a Kestrel different types of measuring or just weather or ballistics? There are a ton. You get. Oh, we're getting Netflixed. Make sure you have one that has like applied ballistics, or like they even offer the Hornady DOF now. Now be careful with that though, because I know AB, the applied ballistics, isn't going anywhere. Okay. When the Kestrels first came out, one of the first ballistic programs that came out with it was Horus, and it died quickly. Okay. So that's gone. I would just get one with applied ballistics, and it will do your weather and it will do your ballistics. There are different price points. You can get one, I think it's called the Sportsman, that has ballistics, but it holds like one profile. And then the ones like we use can hold like 15 different gun profiles, which is really nice.
I think the other one, the one you were talking about, holds two or three.
It might. I don't know. I don't own that one, but I know they made a more cost-effective solution out there.
In the link is a good way to go, but it does cost a little more. I think another $100, but it'll Bluetooth and talk right to your stuff. Like if you're going to run the HUD, that's how it communicates from the HUD to the Kestrel. AKA Devil, the Devil says, so, is it still worth using a Kestrel if you're shooting at a range and mostly surrounded by walls? Well,
yeah, because you don't just use the Kestrel to get your wind. It's still your drops, depending on the distance. Yeah, you don't ever have to open it up if you don't want. But it is going to get your... Okay, so this is really important, guys. Regardless of what kind of data books you keep, if you are at 400 feet of elevation where you live, and you get your rifle all zeroed, and you go to the range, and you get all your dope out to 1,000 yards, and then you go on this big hunt, or you go with some friends, and you go out to, let's say, Colorado somewhere, and you're at 8,000 feet of elevation, it's not going to be the same as it was back home, more than likely, because your air density, altitude, especially your barometric pressure, you're going to see numbers you hadn't seen before if you're shooting at 400.
Yeah, it was like 28 was the...
And it will assist you in helping you make that first round hit. Okay. This was especially important around 2013, 2014. This is when I started actually using a Kestrel. I had some friends in Special Forces 3rd Group who were issued them. They were training down at Bragg. Next day, they're in Afghanistan, they're in Iraq, or wherever, at crazy elevations, crazy temperatures. And the difference in first round hits was huge just because of that little Kestrel. That's when I first started using it.
Yeah, and it's another thing. Like once you get one, if you take care of it, you really won't need another one for a long, long, long time. Like it sucks because the rabbit hole is deep and expensive.
Yeah.
But just buy one good thing at a time, and before you know it, you'll have gear that will work for you. I think is the best way, instead of just buying a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, number one, think that it's really, really expensive, and yes, it can get expensive depending on how much down that rabbit hole you get into it. But it doesn't have to be expensive. Okay, so did we have Casey on here earlier?
Yeah, he was on
that here. Whole setup was like $800. I remember when he got it.
Yeah, the scope, the rifle.
And we had no problems making those hits out to 700 yards. And that was with everything. So it just depends on what you're trying to do or how far you want to go with it. That's all. Regardless, even if you don't get into long range shooting, if you're a hunter, let's say you're just a hunter, it's going to make you a better shooter, period. I mean, if you
first round hits.
Yeah. Or at least knowing your capabilities with the platform.
I mean, if you get a box of ammo to get each target, but if you have to do first round hits, like Eagle Eye says, Rick, what's your opinion still on the Kestrel you have? I don't know if you're talking about the HUD portion of it or the Kestrel, having the Kestrel itself, but it's it's a must have for me.
Yeah, they have mine are 4700 Elites, I think, is what I have with the link. And actually, I've got this thing in the drawer right here. So give me just a second. Let me grab this little thing. So, guys, you can get stupid with this thing. Mine came. I won a bunch of this stuff. That's actually how I got one of my other Kestrels. But they have these things that look like little wind vanes, and you click it in there, and you can put it on a tripod, and it looks like one of those things on top of your roof and it does that. I've never used this, nor will I ever use it. Okay. But just the portability of it, the Kestrel itself is just really nice, and it helps quite a bit. Or you say, well, I'm not that kind of guy. I keep everything in a dope book. Well, what if you've never shot at that elevation? What if you have no dope?
Well,
Let's
and
say
what
it's
if you don't know what the wind is?
Yeah, let's say it's at a temperature you've never experienced.
Yeah.
So we were at Wyoming. These guys were talking about doing stuff and goofing off at 30 below zero. Heck with that. Okay, if it's 30 below zero, I'm gonna be inside somewhere.
Ray
Probably.
will not be there.
Anyway, true story.
Only snow he can hang out with is the snow on his head. He don't like the cold.
No, believe it or not, I do a lot of snow sports. I always went skiing out west and everything else. But just to hang out in the cold, live in the cold, no, not me. Thank you. I'll go visit.
You're like, I gotta do something else. Let's see.
Give me a 22. I can hit a tin can at 2 miles.
Gagabytes. You've been
Oh,
drinking.
come on.
Gagabytes has been drinking. I think at 22 you're safe after a mile and a half, right? Doesn't it say idle travel 1.5 miles?
Asian blot. Fair weather Koreans. That's right. Yeah, because see, in Korea, it's really cold. It can get really, really cold. But come on, guys. As you get older, you remember the old Eddie Murphy? Like, why it's so cold in here? It's so cold in here, Eddie. It's like you get older, you don't want to deal with the cold. So many people retired to Florida.
Nobody wants the cold. Yeah, that's why everybody was Florida. Now it's the my greatest achievement is hitting a 2-inch by 3-inch target from a 50 to 75 feet with a 9mm. Nice. It's a good shot, Shaggy. Yeah, Kreideman says New York hunting 30 below. Asian blonde.
Yeah,
what's up, Brown Eye 77?
No, sir, I will not shave my head on a live chat. Not happening. Most later model applied ballistics have some accuracy first feature from Hodnett's company that complement the trimmer tree. Yes, they absolutely do. On mine, it actually has that. It was part of an update, I believe, and it'll ask if you want to use the accuracy first, but I haven't.
Gagabyte says you're going to turn into a pot of sweet tea the amount you drink. Now, I am a trained professional, so I should have probably warned you ahead of time. Do not try this at home.
Let's give them that
sweet tea drinker. So this is not, you just be careful. Don't try to attempt what I attempt. Let's see.
This is the funny thing, and Rick will attest to this. As much as I love a Kestrel, when we're at the range and we're just trying out a new rifle or something like that, I use Strelok. It's so much faster. But for any competition, I do not use Strelok. I'm not going to use my phone for anything. I'm going to use that dang Kestrel. So I've got a F1 Firearms 6.5 Creedmoor that's coming. Just got shipped to me today. I got to do a review on it here in the next couple of weeks. When I go out to the range, I'm going to have my Strelok with me. Heck with the Kestrel. It takes too long to set it up. And that's where I'll get my dope from. And it'll have the dope within 30 seconds. I'll have a dope chart and be good to go.
Yeah. It's true. And I try to get there and I'm doing the thing, getting all the environmentals. And half the time I can't figure out where the damn environmental unlock is. And I'm like, Ray, help me out. And during this match, I really had to learn some shit. So it was good.
Yes, you did, because you needed to be proficient with your Kestrel. There was not a single person on my squad. I mean, it looked like everybody just swinging stuff.
Yeah.
And it's because you're constantly trying to get that data before you shoot, because it is changing throughout the day. When you go from 35 in the morning or 34 in the morning to like 92 in the afternoon, it changed somewhere.
Well, yeah, between the time you get there, you wait an hour and a half. You go from 32 degrees, now it's 85 degrees. Like you gotta test a few environmentals to see what you got going there.
Yeah.
That was funny, Matt Cross. Let's see. That's good shit. I can't even think right now.
Richard says he just ordered this Kestrel. Make sure you get the right one.
Yes. 5700 with applied ballistics or the elite are the same. And the link. But you'll never have to do it again.
So this will be for Ramsey country because you do a lot of shooting. Okay. And I've been asked this question a lot. If price were not an option, what scope would you choose and why for PRS for long range shooting?
Me?
Nope, that's for Ramsey country.
Oh.
I want to hear somebody else.
Which is dumber, unsweetened tea, tactical pins, or pistol bayonets? Probably pistol bayonets. That's my final answer. I can always sweeten the unsweetened tea because it happens here in California all the time. I go to a restaurant, I say, hey, I need tea. They say, okay, here's your tea. Do you got it? And then I need like 14 damn packets to put in there.
Yeah, I know. No plats. We'll put cornrows in this thing. Yeah, that's it. 5700 Elite. My bad. Yeah, it's the 57 is what I have, not 47. It's 5700 Elite with AB and link. You're getting the right one. That's awesome.
I would
my friend X-ring. Levi says Vortex. Gagabyte says, what's the most expensive scope on the market? The most expensive ones on the market that I've actually used and played with would be the Hensolds and the Tangent Thetas. Okay, those are crazy expensive scopes. I think the Tangents have come down a little bit. Hensoldt, forget about it. I mean, that's Germans being Germans. That stuff's never going to come down. You know, some of their spotting scopes are $10,000+ for basically the equivalent of the loophole. I have shot a lot of the Tangents. I've shot a lot of the old the Premier Heritage when Premier broke away, and they were doing a lot of work for Loopold with Premier reticles. I had a lot of Schmidt and Benders. The older Schmidt and Benders, in my opinion, are better than the newer Schmidts. And this is all going to kind of go to that. Do you use shot glass, which shot glass would be European glass, guys. For those that don't know, I know there's a lot that are learning here. So you have shot glass, which that's basically your Schmidt and Benders. It's going to be your Hensolds and all that. That's what that is. And it's great, great glass. Unbelievable glass, okay? Then you're going to have, like your Japanese glass, which is really, really good glass. That's going to be AKA Night Force, your Vortex Razor, your HDs. But then and I think that's what, Light Optics, something like that. That's the name of that glass company or whatever that does it. And then you have some places in the Philippines and China and everywhere else. There's a huge difference down there. But when you get to Japanese glass now, like Night Force, and you look at shot glass, unless you know what you're looking at, you're probably not going to be able to tell the difference looking at both of them. Okay. You can tell a little, but it depends. And where I noticed it is back when I used to do it for work. If you were 8-10 hours in a scope and you were eyes on target and you can't come off that scope all freaking day long, okay, because you're looking at the target, that's when you're going to notice the difference. But most people don't do that. Okay. I mean, anytime you came off glass, your backup partner, your secondary, had to roll on glass so you could get off. So you either wheeling yourself or whatever. I mean, you can't leave your position. So unless it's those circumstances, you're not going to notice the difference. I think bang for the buck, it's really hard to beat the Night Force. I'm not trying to be a Night Force fanboy, but I've tried. It's hard to get away from Night Force because I've never had one go down.
Oh,
I know I'm babbling, but
weird.
That's what. Don't babble.
No, hit some wood. Knock on some wood.
What's that? Babbling?
No, knock on some wood.
No. I mean,
I've never had a Night Force go down.
I haven't had one go down. If it goes down, it is what it is. Yeah, track torque is another one. You hear that quite a bit as well. Honestly, guys, though, there were actually quite a few guys shooting tangents, which really surprised me because when I bought those Schmitz like 2 years ago, I was going to buy the tangent thetas instead, and I didn't. And of course, I had a problem with the Schmitz, and those were the SOCOM Schmitz.
Two of them,
and
right?
yeah, it was two of them, two identical units, and I was shooting Night Force way before then. The U.S. Marine Corps, I think they just selected the Night Force, the 7-35, for their new sniper rifle. It's just tough to beat them. It really is. That's my
John
2
got a
cents.
good point. It's more than just a glass, but yeah.
Whereas
It needs to track well, so on and so forth, and blah,
correct,
blah, blah,
and
blah.
that was my point on that little chat tonight. Was yes, even though the shot glass is better, it has to have the durability and the repeatability. And what I found is with the Night Force, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I used to be a huge loophole guy, but anymore, I hate the way the turrets feel. I grew up on the old loophole, the Ultras, the Mark IVs, way back in the day, and they just always real mushy feeling. And then the loophole Mark V, the Mark IV M5 that I won last year, that's already having problems. I sold that to Bryson, and Bryson noticed some issues with it, talked to Loophole rep. Loophole's like, yep, send it in. Look, I understand everything breaks, but the QC and the quality out of the Night Force is really tough to beat. Price point's not cheap, but buy once, cry once if you're going to go down it. Vortex Razor HD, never had any issues with those. I think it's a great optic. Great optic, especially for the money.
Davies, a primary arm 6-30 Athena, because I'm an ACSS fanboy. Those are nice. That's what I shot in Utah.
Yeah, the only difference you're going to notice, because it tracks well, and I'm a big fan of that scope, is the glass quality is not anywhere on par with the Razor HD. It's going to start dropping off at, what would you say, 15 power? It's going to really start getting a little more milky. And like on these, these Burruses that are made in the Philippines, even though this is a higher end scope, these XTRs, these things start getting milky at like 13, 14, and just get worse. Yeah, Rick doesn't like them. But, these weren't cheap scopes. They were like $1,200 when they first came out. I think you get them for like $900 now. But don't skip on your glass, guys.
It's free and easy to take 2 seconds. Ray, do you use a standard power or a certain load, or use different powders? Oh, one standard load for certain load, or use different powders. Once he finds something he likes, I can tell you, he's done.
Yeah, I stick with it. Before I answer that, Gagabytes, Johnson Manelli. Absolutely. The Schmidt & Bender has one of the best positive clicks. And back when they used to do the click, click thunks, I don't know if you know about that, but what they designed on the older Schmidt & Benders, I don't know if they still do it, but the 8541 scope that I had, if it was night or low light, so like if you turn this, you can feel it. You can feel those detents. But on the older Schmitz, they actually designed it so that when you went to a full mil, it was like click, 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 thunk. And it was a hard stop. So you're at 1 mil. Then
Oh,
click,
wow,
click,
that's cool.
click, thunk at 2 mils. And that was one of the greatest features ever. But I do like the tactile feel of the Schmidt & Bender. But are you getting the value for the money? I mean, some of those scopes, $5,500 or so, you can get the Night Force for $3,400, $3,500. Yeah, I don't see double the value, or a Henselt be triple the value. Okay, so
Eagle Eye says there are really good scopes out there from new companies, but their warranty and customer service won't be the same. Which
yes,
makes great sense. I mean, a lot of the glass is coming from a few different places, and
yeah, it's like one of the lower end primary arms actually shares the same housing with 30 other different scope companies. Matter of fact, yep, here it is. I got it right here. This is a lower end primary arms, and it's meant to be a lower end economy. This was their 1 to 6. There are 30 companies that share this housing. It's just not going to say primary arms. It's going to say something else or something else. And,
Yeah.
and that's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, it's like the bolt carrier groups and the barrels and the this and the that. They're, there's, besides putting a stamp on it to tell you it's this or that, that all come.
I'm losing you, Rick.
How about now?
I got you now. It might be me.
Mine actually did a little funkiness too, so I don't know, but
anyway, some really, really good questions, good topics tonight. I
Ray
don't
Pita.
want to be on here like I was last night, but yeah, good stuff. I'm glad we can all share this information. There's a lot of good knowledge out there. It really is. It's been a lot of fun, man.
Shit, we got 81 people watching. I was going to say we could wrap this up. You think Nikon might start making scopes again after the election?
I'm going to say something because I'm a little vocal sometimes.
What?
I have yet to use a good Nikon scope, and that's somebody that was a former photographer that were using some really high-end Nikon cameras. It's like they just missed the mark. Why couldn't they do something better with their scopes? And then they got out of the scope business. I've seen so many Nikons go down. I don't know. It's like, how can you make such a good camera and make such crappy scopes? And of course, I think they got out of the business. So I think that's where that question is generating from. Will they ever come back?
Scope covers, what do you recommend? I've been using the Vortex ones, but for the Vortex, I like them because the cover will fold all the way forward on the front one or the back one, the one towards your hat.
Yeah, John says he just paid $2,700 at Euro Optics for a PM2 PL4 reticle. Yeah, PFL4 reticle. You can pay $30,000. Yeah, and well, John, that's a good point. I mean, it's what you do with it. I mean, what you get comfortable with. I mean, there's guys that can take $800-900 scopes and shoot circles around all of us. It's just get good at what you have. Spend the money on trigger time. Getting a good load. I mean, if you're not into hand loading, I'm not saying go out there and buy a bunch of equipment. Now's not the best time to be looking for that stuff because it's all kind of dried up. But if you really want to maximize long range potential, it's going to be really tough to shoot factory ammunition. The closest I've ever seen it come is where it's at right now with the Hornady match. And yeah, back in the day when federal gold medal was the standard, this Hornady shoots circles around that stuff. But yeah, if you can tailor a load to your rifle, you'll just, even with Hornady match, you engage in targets 1,200-1,300 yards. What you're going to notice is you hold the same spot and then it's a foot low. Then the next one's 6 inches high. What you're getting is that difference in charge where it's not tailored to your gun. Okay, your velocities are different. If you don't believe that, check it. Look at what the standard deviation is, what your extreme spread is. Spend a little bit of money on some reloading stuff. It's not that expensive. It's just now's not the best time for it. And
yeah, you can't find anything.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything. But yeah, I think that's one of the keys to long range shooting is just consistent platform. One gun. Fear the man with one gun.
True. How funny was that parody video? Let's see. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in here.
Killing, boy.
Kidding.
And he wore that at the Hornady match. They actually got a picture of him on their Facebook thing where they took a picture and you can see killing. Isn't that what it is? No, it's not killing's killing. It was
what the hell?
What the hell? That's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. On the Hornady, there's a picture of me like all you see is the back of my shirt, and I'm looking out and with the mountain or something like that. And actually, I probably got it right here. Yeah, I'm wearing that shirt. It's a pretty cool photo. Oh, you texted me that picture actually.
Patriot said, "Whatever happened to R Square?" Guys, there's not enough hours in a day. Rick's been busy. I've been crazy busy. I honestly haven't been putting out a whole lot of videos. It's just selling a lot of suppressors, though.
Yeah, you've been working your butt
man.
off.
Yeah, I filled 2 more orders today, so that's good. But yeah, it's really busy right now for me.
Oh, right here. What the hell?
That's what the shirt said.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it said, what the hell? So that's the picture they took of me. You can kind of see my shirt. Yeah, that was a pretty neat photo, actually.
Guess what, Mr. Rick?
Hey, Mr. Elmo's here. Richard had said, "Where's Elmo at?" I told him he's at home. His ass is at home. Yeah, R squared is a lot of fun, but it's
All right.
so
So Brown Eye is asking about. Yeah, Brown Eye is asking about the point of impact versus the Satterley method. Which do you think is better? Man, I don't know. And for you guys that aren't into reloading or don't know what that's with regards to, basically you're looking for velocity. You're looking for nodes. You're looking for velocity plateaus to where, to make it really simple, little bits of charge don't do that much to the velocity of the bullet, and you're going to find you're on a node. Look, there's a lot of great information out there. Just do some research on it. I think that's a little too involved to get into on this. I don't have a favorite. I have my way of doing it. That's it. Ray's hair is getting long. Yeah, it is long.
But you want to find it where no matter if you're a little bit off on either end, it's still very accurate. It's like the quick
correct
answer. So yeah, it's
working with the harmonics.
Like the stock market real quick, and you're trying to find the flat one where you can have this amount of powder to this amount of powder, and you're still getting the same accuracy where it's not doing this. And if you want to know more, the best bet is to go do some hardcore research.
Node is arc, right? I can't answer that question. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Node is arc.
The way someone had told me, and I don't know if it's right, so if I say it wrong, but in between like the dot to the dot, right? The node, the longer that portion is before it spikes is the node.
The arc.
So I don't know if he's trying to call that the arc or the spike is the arc. Like, so it kind of, I don't know if we're on the same English page, because is the arc what he's saying the spiky part or the arc? I mean, I know what an arc looks like, obviously, but is it the arc? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like Armament Axis. He said, yes, Ray, a lot more to precision reloading than the perfect powder charge. And that is absolutely 100% correct. Once you settle on a charge, then you got to worry. Then you want to look at how big is the jump? Basically, how far is that? Oh, geez, Elmo's talking.
Whoa, poor Elmo. What are you doing to him? That's a nice Ray.
So, it depends on what you're shooting, because now with all these ELD bullets, these longer bullets, if you will, depends on the caliber. Some of them like a lot of jump, somewhere between 50,000 to 65,000 jump. They like to have that running start before they get crammed into those lands and grooves. Back in the day when everybody was shooting 308 and nobody really knew what a 6.5 Creedmoor was because it wasn't invented yet. There was, Swede and all this other stuff. Those didn't like that kind of jump. Now I'm getting ready to go too. I got to get a Diet Coke. A lot of those, you're going to be 5,000 jump or something. So everything's going to be different with regards to not only the caliber, but your rifle. There is. I'm not ranting. I'm not ranting. I'm just trying to talk. That's it.
Who's with you? Somebody with you?
By myself.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. So Matt answers this by saying node refers to an accuracy node. And that's absolutely right. But when he said node is arc, I don't know what he means by that. That's it. Drew says he's going to be reading about nodes.
Good. Then when you're all finished, let us know. Mountain Man.
Yeah, Mountain Man says I think node is the sweet spot. Yeah.
That's what I thought. It was in between. You had instead of the.
Yeah, I'm not breaking out a whiteboard out here, but Okay, so a lot of people are using computers and putting the data in for velocities, and you can actually, you'll see those plateaus that I was talking about. I think you can do that under JBM Ballistics. There's a couple other ones. I keep it pretty simple, and I've mentioned this before. Basically, I take a big piece of cardboard, I'll load up a bunch of different loads, I'll shoot to find where the nodes are, and what they are clusters, even though your charge is changing. Well, when you're on those clusters of groupings at that kind of distance, you know you're on a node. What I mean by that is powder charges aren't affecting that little range as far as the velocity. So it's kind of on a node. But then you might go up 2/10 more of a grain and it jumps 3 inches. And then the next one, 2/10 of a grain jumps 2 inches. Well, that's not a node. That's too big of a gap. So there's different methods of doing this, but there is a lot of science behind it. It's math is what it is, but it's pretty cool because it's really hard to find any footage of any harmonics going on with the barrel. Go ahead, I urge you to look it up, and you'll see some tanks and whatnot. But even Ken noticed when we shot that MDT with Ella, when I did that video where she did the long range, you can actually put it in slow-mo and see that barrel whip like that because it's the harmonics traveling through the barrel. It was cool. Ray be by himself, but not in his head. That's right.
He's a good co-host, everybody. Gives me enough time to drop off some tea every once in a while.
Which 6mm is better from the standpoint of reloading and range performance? I would assume he's talking about 6 GT, 6 Creedmoor, 6 Dasher, 6 XC,
6 Prancers,
Dixon. You know, it depends. If you're never going to shoot PRS and you don't need to worry about spotting your impact as quickly and have the least amount of recoil, then I don't see myself ever getting into any of the Dashers, GTs, XCs, any of that other stuff, and the plethora of the other ones. 6 Creedmoor is great. Love it. It's a barrel burner, but it's a barrel burner I can live with because it's still got plenty of energy. But I can't say which one's best. It depends on the application.
Yeah, that makes sense. Depending on what you're doing, I would assume. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
resonance frequency at the muzzle. Perfect example. See, if you slow that video down, you will see that bullet whip or that barrel whip, and that's what's going on. It's why on ARs, if you don't have a free float handguard, and trust me, I know you have a gas block that does touch, so it's not truly free floating, but it's a whole lot better than an M4 handguard that you're resting on top of this sandbag and you're torquing your barrel up, and now you're high.
I've seen it time and time. I just don't understand.
True story. I was working with some guys. It was an agency that was there for a patrol rifle class. I was teaching the patrol rifle class, and the guy was trying to zero his rifle. Okay. He brought out this plastic thing. It was about this big. It was a plastic bipod, and it had a spray. It locked together, and when you unreleased the lock, it would clamp around the barrel. Have you ever seen one of those?
Yeah. Yeah, you put it like this, and then you put it on the barrel, and then you have your bipod.
Yeah. Okay, so he had it on the barrel, just right behind the muzzle brake, right? The flash hider. And he's like, I cannot get this thing zeroed. Look at the groups on this thing. I was like, well, look what you're doing there, buddy. You're bracing off of the barrel, flexing your barrel because of that silly plastic bipod. And we put it on a bag right in front of the mag well. The thing, all of a sudden, it's shooting, it wasn't great, but it was 1.5 inch, 2 inch groups at 100 yards. Whereas before, it was like pumpkin, And he's
just not working.
That's it. He's interfering with those harmonics.
Man, we got just a madness of great people in here right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And 243. A long time ago when I was competing, I had a 243 bolt gun. It was a Winchester Model 74 pre 64, but a Model 70 with the claw extractor and everything. I had it in Macmillan, and I love the 243. But once again, barrel burner. There's not a lot of difference between the 243 and the 6mm Creedmoor. The 243 actually has the ability to hold more powder, so you can have a little more energy, more velocity. But the problem is with the angle, it doesn't really lend itself too well to these ELD bullets. And yeah, that's kind of what that is. I like the 243.
Is there anything you can do to slow down the burn rate of the 6 Creedmoor barrel? Just Elmo. Elmo's out there, everybody, in case you're wondering. He says, "Hi, guys."
I have heard of guys not being so heavily involved with H4350, which is kind of the standard for your 6mm Creedmoor and your 6.5 Creedmoor guys. There are a lot of guys that are using some other powders like H1000 and some other stuff to help prolong your barrel life. The Tubbs bullets that I bought and tried, I actually shot them at the match because of the design of the tail. It's supposed to block off gas faster and extend your barrel life. Who knows? I don't know if it's, snake oil or what, but that's what they're saying. It's a rebated boat tail rather than a standard boat tail.
See, this is where a lot of people run down different rabbit holes and basically spend way too much time and energy on, my opinion. But like Chris Smith says right here, you can run out of daylight every day for the next your entire life trying to find the magic load. But at the end of the day, did all 500 of them hit the target?
Well, Rick, what have I always preached to you since you got into this?
1 MOA or better.
There you go. That doesn't mean I want to shoot a PRS match with a 1 MOA gun. We'd like to get a little bit better. But if I get a load that's shooting, half, 6/10, something like that, I'm good. I'll shoot it.
Yeah.
Your wind calls are going to be off more than that, folks. That's the thing. You got to realize your ability. Your wind call is going to be off a whole lot more than that if you never shot at 1,300 yards in 25-mile-an-hour wind, Rick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You worry about a half-minute gun and you're 2 mils off to the right.
I was like,
that's what's going to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't make mountains out of molehills.
Explain the flex on the barrel you tried with Mini X again.
I didn't hear that.
Davey.
Yeah, basically, when you fire a rifle, that barrel actually starts to flex. Okay, you know what? Hold on, just a second.
This is gonna be bad, folks. Anytime you hear "hold on,"
no, it's not bad. But my wife was down here, okay, and we were talking the other day because she was wanting to know because she's not a shooter, and she was wanting to know about Ella shooting and everything else. But this is just this is a stick rule. But, if you hit this, you're not going to see a whole lot. You can see it vibrating a little bit, the harmonics. But if you put this in slow-mo, you'll actually see this wave come through there like that. Okay? And that's what's going on with it when you fire it. What you're trying to do, my understanding is you're wanting to find the consistent release for the velocity. So let's hold it on the bottom of that trophy right there. So that when that happens, it's not releasing here or here, but the bullet is actually exiting the barrel exactly when it's at a certain point every time. That's the way it was explained to me, and that makes the most sense. It could be completely wrong. I'll have you guys chime in.
Drew, appreciate that. Says, thank you guys, and also that your chat for answering my questions. It really does inspire. Thank you. You know what? You're welcome. I appreciate you showing up. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I thought he was going to use a pool noodle.
That would have worked too. I mean, yeah. Yeah. When you think of a barrel and you're like, there's no way this thing could flex, but
oh yeah, they flex big time. Big time.
That would be actually a cool video is to get like a pencil AR, like a pencil barrel from AR, and then like a big bull barrel and kind of run slow-mo on them. That sounds like a good video for Kenny if he's still out there.
Well, thank you, Silver Fox. And
hey, Silver Fox is out here?
Yeah, he's out there. Now, here's another way to think about it because so I was shooting really short bolt guns way back in the day. When they first came out, they used to call them counter sniper rifles or something like that, whatever the crap that means. But I would play around with some of these, back in the day, everybody was shooting 26-inch, 28-inch bolt guns. And then 20 started coming on. Everybody was like, oh, that's too short. Well, I was going even shorter than that. I was shooting 16-inch bolt guns. Think about it. How easy it is for me to bend this piece of metal with my fingers right now. But as we get it shorter, it's a little harder to bend this thing, okay? So you get more rigidity out of shorter barrels. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose accuracy. What you're going to lose and what you're going to give up is velocity, because you're not burning all that powder. But, you know, I mean, this was in the late 80s, early 90s. We were making hits at like 1,000 yards with these 308s with these little 16-inch barrels. And, you know, the last 308 that I had built, it was a 17.4-inch barrel, just to keep it a little bit on the short end. You're giving up a lot of velocity, but I know that hit a mile 3 times out of 20 shots. And so it's definitely doable. And that was with Sergio shooting it.
Well, and what's his name? Jeremy just shot the mile with his 18-inch.
It's 308. Yeah.
Yeah.
90s.
So it's still doable. But yeah, velocity, right? So you will lose. You get a cool little light show depending on how much powder you got in there, right? Blowing out the end, all the unburned powder. But let's see.
Yeah, Armament Axis say bench rest shooters use a barrel that is heavier than your whole gun. Exactly. Those things get crazy. Or if you watch these guys shooting these rail guns, it's what it is. Getting rid of those harmonics. Let's see. Play trumpet, all sorts of things.
Slow motion. You should see the whip on that there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Carcane says Microtech UTX versus the Ultratech. Which do you like better? Neither.
So cool.
No, I'm going to be careful I say this, because I don't want to sound like another YouTuber, but I do have pretty big mittens. Okay, the Ultratech and the X85. You know where I'm going with that.
Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Yeah, hopefully he's not watching, but
you know, it's funny. I saw another guy say that. It might have been yesterday.
Yeah, so this is the Ultratech, okay? And in my hand, this thing feels like a pencil, okay? It is the #1 seller for the company, no doubt about it. But it doesn't suit my lifestyle that well, okay? So I'm typically going to have something that's like a combat if I'm going to have an out the front, but I typically don't carry an out the front. They don't like sand. You just have to understand that going into it. If you pour sand in this, it will not fire. It's going to jam. It has to have clearance. So typically sand's not an issue, because it's going to be open end down in the pocket. But if you get a bunch of sand in your pocket and you end up upside down, it can work its way in there. So maintenance is a little higher. Just have to flush it out with room oil. Not knocking the company. That's any out the front. Or 2 or 3.
See, and I don't like the size of that one. It takes up too much.
But you got them little hands.
What the hell are you talking about? Oh.
You like those little girly knives? No, it's just these should be better.
Can you tell me what?
Wait. Come on, guys. Oh, and he's laughing.
He touched his button again.
Oh, I see a John Simonelli question. This is pretty good. Can you tell me why you would dial instead of using your reticle?
Accuracy.
There is a time for both. I pretty much did nothing but holdovers for pretty much the first day, just because of the way the targets were. Okay. But Rick, do you remember the one stage off the tripod? The only difference between the targets was like 10 yards.
Yeah.
Why would you hold that when you can dial it? If it was like 545 yards, just go ahead and put your dope in there. It's good. Just hold center. It's a quick boom. It's going to take my eye to the dead center of that, not getting me lower in the reticle. And it's just boom, 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 boom. You're just going back and forth. That's a place where you'd want to dial. There's no reason to hold over. Your holdovers are going to be slower, in my opinion, because you're having to find it in the graph, especially after the recoil, find that number, where's center is center. I did dial when I did holdovers to subtract out my first target. I did cover this in one of my videos. You know what? I actually have my dope cards right here from the match. Hold on just a second.
Well, and let's see, more precise shot placement, conservative sniper runner, and that's how I feel too. If I need to,
absolutely,
if the target's really small and it's far, I need to dial because I suck.
Okay, so this right here is my range card for the stage. The first target was 0.5 mil. The second target was 0.8. Then it was 1.2 mils, 1.6, and 2 mils. That's what it was in that order. So I would be stupid to start off the stage and try to immediately hold 0.5 mil. Go ahead and dial that 0.5 mil in. Okay, this is straight from the match. I never erased it. So now my first one is dead on 0-0. I'm just holding center for that first target. That's not going to change. Now I subtract 0.5 from every other hold. Not every other, but every hold. So now we go from dead center for my first target to 0.3 to 0.7, because all we're doing is 1.2 minus that 0.5. And so now I'm holding more center and the first target's dead on. So there's no reason to hold that. If you haven't done that, I recommend trying it because it will help you, especially because this was a short stage. It was only out to 2 mils, but I've got some here that were like 7 mils when we were shooting out to 700 and something. No, 1,300 and something.
1375.
Yeah, 1,375 on a couple stages. The other thing you can do is leave yourself notes, guys. So like the very first target, 10-inch round, then 15-inch round. And then I had 3 IPSC targets. You know, do little things or notes on side of there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Here was your stage, Rick. That was the very first one, 0.4 on the, what was it, on the bottle? And then it was the rock.
Oh, yeah.
The badger, and then the coyote.
Coyote.
So that way I'm associating it with a distance, and I've got it right there right off the bat. Leave yourself notes. It'll help a lot. Hey, this one right here, antlered deer, bull moose, or the bull and then the mule. It's good.
Yeah, whatever helps out.
Yep.
And there was some full-size targets out there, guys. Like, I think they're full-size, but like full-size elk, full-size things, and I still missed some shit. I sucked. That was horrible. Snipers unknown. Do you know what the farthest we'll be shooting out to? I think we talked about this the other day. I don't know if we'll even know.
No, I don't know. And I know that when I shot it in 18, I think the furthest shot was 968. Yes, it was 968 yards. That was the furthest shot. I didn't have to take that shot. My primary took that with the bolt gun. So that one really wasn't more of a distance thing as much. You got to realize in a lot of these team matches and everything, it's a lot of hunting and seeking your targets. They're all blind. You go to a holding area, you shoot, you're removed from that holding area, go to another holding area so you can't talk to your buddies. You cannot transfer any information, and then they have to shoot it blind. Yeah, none of this. We're giving you the target sizes and distance and location. You got to do that all on the clock.
If they did that, it'd be a PRS match. Kind of.
See, that scared of bugs. No, it was the stage.
That's what it was. This is the stage. Still waiting on the cold bore 600-yard golf ball shot. Yeah, you know what? Me too, Richard. Who's supposed to be doing that again? We got Kenny's doing that. I'm at work, so that ain't happening.
Yeah, Armament and Axe has just clarified it. I mean, I always say use the dope. I was never taught what he said. What I was taught was data of previous engagement or data. Yeah, that was it. Data of previous engagement. It all means the same thing. Basically, it is information that you recorded beforehand on what this rifle did at that distance. So, data of previous engagement.
And the ants are playing golf. All right. Well, very cool. I would
waiting on the cold bore 600-yard golf ball. Yeah, I never said I could do that. That's what I want to see too.
I want to see it. Who was going to do that? Kenny?
Kenny said he's going to do it. Wait, this is my shoe. Ready? Remember the Wild Wild West? Artemis Gordon? Woo, woo, woo. Roger Moore? You don't remember the Wild Wild West, do you? The real Wild Wild West.
I know the Wild Wild West. Yeah, with the shoe knife. Okay.
Yeah. And then
and that's also on
right handgun. We're not talking about the Will Smith.
Right boot. Right boot.
KB32 said done, nothing but net.
Oh, that's right. KB32 was in on that disaster madness. I can't wait to watch that. Where did you get the spare dope cards?
These are the most expensive dope cards known to man. Okay? These are not dope cards. I've turned them into dope cards. If you'll notice, it has a little hole here.
Those are name tags.
These are key access cards. These are programmed, but guess what? They worked, and we had a box of them, and we were going out west, and I was like, let's take them. And I think they were like
$40.
Expensive.
Yeah. Cha-ching.
You can actually buy them from like office supplies that do clear cards where they have the machine. And I think they're relatively inexpensive. You just might have to buy a bunch of them to do that.
Yeah, for making IDs and stuff.
Yeah, because if you do like I did and you let it stay on here too long, it is a pain to get this off. It'll actually stain deep into the card. So yeah, when you come back from a match, try to get that off sooner than later. You can use salt.
I don't think I'm ever gonna do that again, right? I'm gonna do what I saw with those guys using painter's tape. Because after they were done with the stage, they just ripped it off.
Yeah, but you're a trash monger. You got to keep up with trash now.
Goes in the bag. Who cares?
Yeah, but then
they had a trash bag at every stage. They had a trash bag at every stage.
Yeah, that's not always the case.
Oh. Well, then you wait for the next stage and throw it in there.
This works for me and has for years. So I'm going to stick with it.
I think it's a great idea. You should. I'm just saying, trying to get that stuff off could be a pain in the butt.
No,
yeah,
I mean, you and I were
working on some magnetic dope cards. What?
You and I took all of it off when we went to the match originally.
Correct. Yeah, with some solvent. I think it was solvent, right? Andrew,
yeah, there's definitely no shortage of cards. I always keep a ton of these. Matter of fact, here's Rick's. I have Rick's. Look at that, Rick Prairie Dog, Jack Daniels, Coyote Pig. Sound like a good hunting trip.
That's awesome. Well said. Yeah, show me some more of those.
I can't even make that out. What were you doing here? Scribble? You were drawing, weren't you?
No, I got rid of all those. Those were all different, and then the far left one I was actually using.
What you do is you turn it over upside down because you won't try to read it upside down. So if you have free space, that's what I do on them. Once I use one side, if I've got space over here, I flip it over, and that way I can only read it. It's that your brain is going to tell you that's the one you need to read.
That was the last thing I needed to worry about.
You don't need to draw.
My brain was going, why isn't the bullet coming out of the magazine and going into the chamber? That's what my brain was saying. Oh, Eagle Eye Shooting. Richard says, let us know when they are available. Does Ray use anything that's inexpensive? The answer is no.
Yes, I do. Oh, Rick, I found another card of yours. What were you doing? What is that?
That was FML.
That was out of your dope card book.
You're lying.
Oh man,
it should have been in there. Hell, maybe I did. I don't know. As bad of a day as I was having, I could have wrote that and not even known. That was a good one though, Ray. I like that. Brian Dockley says short action precision makes one of those use business card size cards. Just give business card stock.
No, I do not use silk toilet paper. What the heck?
Uh-oh. We are switching gears here. Where's that at? Who is that?
No, you said this right. Use anything inexpensive. It's just no. It
Sometimes
regular toilet paper's fine. Yeah.
Well, yeah, use inexpensive scissors.
My wife said, "Why aren't you cutting your hair?" I said, "Because I'm cheap." That's $20. I don't buy bullets.
That's right. I could buy half a box of burgers. Matt says I confused my dope card with my emotional ledger. Let's see. Yeah, there's a ton of. I actually ended up using the armband way, Mountain Man, and I was using Rays, and it seemed to work out. But I would have much rather had something right on the rifle and not had to look down. But
yeah, so back in the day, I used to use those little quarterback things, but taking your eyes and looking down here, it throws everything off. Just keep your eye looking through the scope. You just now look out of your left eye if you're, depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed. And so as handy as that is, this one's by Armageddon Gear. It is handy if you have nothing else, but you need a scope-mounted or rifle-mounted dope card that's about halfway down your rifle, depending on how old you are. If you need readers, just write bigger. True story. It's a lot easier to find your dope. There was a guy that commented on one of my videos. He's like, "You just need to put them in your scope caps." Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, the problem is putting. It's nice to have that information in your scope cap if you're going hunting, just to maybe have some 100-yard zeros out to like 500 yards. But for a PRS or long range style match, that is not going to work. Bad idea. And the reason is it's right here at your face, at your eye relief level. And now you're going to have to do this, and it's going to be too small. You have very limited real estate on that.
Yeah. No, I think what you said, though, is having just a couple things in there that your gun's good at,
Yeah, absolutely. Like
if it was a hunting rifle, you're like, oh, yeah, I think that deer's at 400 yards or 300 yards.
Yeah, we'll see at 300 yards on almost your 6.5s, Creedmoors, everything else. You go ahead and figure it's going to be 1 mil. I mean, you're going to have enough play there with your point blank zero that, I mean, if you put in 1 mil, you're not going to miss an animal.
True. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Those are the givens. Yeah, I know it's getting late.
The boys and girls of all ages. It's not getting late, especially for me. It's only 8:22, but I know we've been yapping for an hour and 40 minutes, and I know most of you guys don't like hanging out as long, especially if you're doing the after this chat. But hopefully you guys learned something, agreed with something, had fun, enjoyed hanging out, and Rick must pee like a pregnant woman drinking all that tea. I don't know, Ray. Go ahead and tell me.
Before you hang up, Rick, I need to.
Oh, man. All right. What are we waiting for? All right.
Hold on a minute.
All right.
So Kenny was asking about these, and guys, these are the Eagle target cams. I have yours, Rick. It's right here. Just got to put the antenna on it. But this is what he was talking about. Kenny, we haven't forgot about them. We just haven't had a chance to really be at the range to use them yet. Rick had to go straight back to California right after the match, so we haven't forgotten.
No, I want to mess with that when I get back too.
Yeah.
Brian Dockley, Texas Bullets out there. It's the first time I see that.
Guys, I really appreciate it. And Rick does.
And congratulations to Richard Hedges for winning a Microtech knife tonight on soon-to-be 40,000 subscriber X-Ring channel.
Special knife.
Amazing how fast his channel's grown compared to my channel.
No, it's all because of you guys, and I appreciate it.
It is. You guys are great. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel here, please hit the subscribe button. I will text in the bottom and say, hey. Hey. All right. So you guys take care. Stay safe. Up. Tim Davis just showed up. Brown Eye 77. Black Sheepdog Cody G. All right, you guys have a good one. Bye.
Guys, take care. See you.
Night, Silver Fox.